could hardly believe it when I heard the news today. I had to come and get it straight from you. They said you were leaving, someone swept your heart away. From the look upon your face, I say it's true. So tell me all about it. Tell me about the plans you're making. Oh, tell me one thing more before I go. Tell me, how am I supposed to live without you? Now that I've been loving you so long, how am I supposed to love without you? How am I supposed to carry on? And all that I've been living for is gone. Too proud for crying, didn't come here to break down. It's just a dream of mine, it's coming to an end. How can I blame you when I build my world around the hope that one day we'd be so much more than friends? Now I don't wanna know the price I'm gonna pay for dreaming. Oh, even now it's more than I can take. Tell me, how am I supposed to live without you? Now that I've been loving you so long, how am I supposed to live without you? And how am I supposed to carry on when all that I've been living for is gone? I don't wanna know the price I'm gonna pay for dreaming. Oh, now that your dream has come true, tell me, how am I supposed to live without you? How am I supposed to live now that I've been loving you so long? How am I supposed to live without you? And how am I supposed to carry on when all that I've been living for is gone?
It's Dagger Duchess to you. Ha! And I'm ready for battle. Is this a joke? If I wanted a prince, I would take him down on the battlefield. Throwing daggers from a tower is my thing, and I've got many knives that need sharpening. Every day inside the castle feels the same. All these sweets and pretty dresses and flowers are lame. I don't need a lover, just give me a tower and watch out for my aim and speed. I don't need a lover, just give me a tower. My daggers are all that I need. I'm a royal princess. Yuck. I'm way too feisty to be cutesy and bland, but I have a plan. I don't need a lover, just give me a tower and watch out for my aim and speed. I don't need a lover, just give me a tower. My daggers are all that I need. All that I need. Don't call me princess.
These are the rules of the duel. All duels must have appropriately epic music.
Clash Royale, best game in the universe. Clash Royale, it's got lightning and skeletons. Duel players in real time, destroy towers in real time.
Warrior troops take a stand, now you got the upper hand. Destroy the king in the ground and crash.
That was a rule of the duel, a most ridiculous duel. Clash Royale.
Welcome back to, or I guess welcome to Moogie's Tournament of the Crown. This is our first year running a Clash Royale tournament. We are super excited, and you may recognize my voice from Moogie's Valorant Throwdown. I was the tournament coordinator on both the first and second years, and we are here with some Clash Royale action for you guys today. We've already played the round of 16, and we are here with our top 8 quarterfinalists: Matthew Superb, Ninjas Hyper, Clasher, Cian Swen, Peace Butterhugger, and Black Arrow. And I'm joined by my co-caster Takeshi, who was also a very familiar voice on the desk at Moogie's Valorant Throwdown.
Yeah, I mean, you might recognize me from basically anything that Esports at Davis has casted at this point. League, Valorant, that sort of stuff. Excited to branch out in Clash Royale with you today, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about positive electric rates only today, guys. We are looking for, overtime action. We have a pretty good amount of 9,000 trophies players today, so we're hoping for some good matchups here. I have not casted Clash Royale in a very long time, so I'm a little bit rusty, but you know what, honestly, I think it might be better to just hop into the match and get some practice. What do you think?
I'm ready to get started whenever you are, Alex.
All right, cool. Competitors, I think we are just about ready to get the match started, so at your discretion, let's get going. We're gonna wait on our competitors here to get into a friendly battle here. That's how we're running the tournament today. We're not doing any special clan shenanigans. We're just putting everyone into a friends list. You guys can go when you're ready.
Interested to see what kind of decks. Obviously, since we played the round of 16 offline, right, Alex, we have no idea what decks these two will be bringing to the table today.
Yeah, so we have an instant wall breakers coming out from Matthew, and we're looking at just a quick little counter. Executioner is going to get dropped down here. Our spectate situation here is a little bit cooked. We're going to try to fix that here really quick.
Important to note, obviously, that Matthew at the bottom was sitting on 10 Elixir for a little bit there, just trying to play a little bit more reactive and see if he can feel out what Superb is looking for there. Instant Fireball onto the tower, try and deal some damage.
Looks like that Little Prince is going to get countered by that Royal Ghost. Ability does come out in time, though, so Superb is going to have to contend with that. Only 3 cards shown from each player so far. We will note that Superb is running the Royal Chef, so that will be leveling up his troops every time that Pancake comes up. Battle Ram is going to take out that Bomb Tower. Barbarian's not going to survive, but that Bandit is going to... Oh, nice kite over there from the Knight from Matthew. Going to prevent all damage done from that Bandit. Slight lead coming out to Matthew here. That Poison's going to bring that a little bit more. Execution's going to get taken down by that Poison as it advances through the field here, getting taken down to about half HP. Pekka's going to get dropped in front of it for a nice little tank here. Little Prince, sorry, is going to be hopefully staying alive here. That Execution is going to take it down pretty fast. One shot by the Pekka. Level 12 there. That's going to be on the tower. That's one connection shot. That brings Superb right back into the lead here. That's 2 shots, actually. This might be tower. 400 HP is all we have left. Bats are going to take down the battle ram, but not before it makes connection to the tower. And those Barbarians are going to get taken out. Matthew's tower is not looking too healthy right now. It's 1,500 HP and 450 HP. Those bats are going to get taken out by the Princess Tower pretty easily, though.
It is important to note that the placement of that bomb tower, right, maybe a little bit too far back to actually draw aggro away from the Pekka. Maybe a slight miscalculation. It just depends on exactly what they're going for. And as we head into double elixir time here, you see that Superb actually still has a card left to play.
Yep. Fireball's going to take down the Little Prince right there. That log is going to finish it off. Knight should be able to counter that Bandit, but Executioner is going to have to be a force to contend with. That Miner's getting a little bit of chip damage over there on the right tower of Superb. We're taking it down to 2,100 HP, but 200 HP on Matthew's tower puts him in a very precarious situation going into overtime, especially contending against a beatdown deck like Superb's here. That Fireball is going to take it down even when... Actually, that's going to take the tower, so he has 25 seconds to make a hero play here. Those wall breakers are going to connect. He's going to take it down to 800 HP. Poison's going to take down a little bit more, but without a heavy spell in his deck, it's going to be tough for him to find a way to really pull this back in 14 seconds here. The Miner's not going to connect to the tower, and we're looking for hopefully a hero player on that wall breaker there. Fireball's going to take it out. 600 HP on the tower. 6 seconds, not enough for the Poison to take it down, and that should be the quarterfinal victory going to Superb.
Nicely done. You see the handshake there, great sportsmanship being displayed there at that table. The first quarterfinal ends with a bit of an upset.
All right, we're going to go ahead and bring in our next quarterfinalists here. We're looking at Ninja's Hyper versus CORSAIR. We're going to go ahead and get that friend code added here. All right, as we get set up here, we're going to look for, I believe this is quarterfinal. Yes, this is the quarterfinal 2 matchup, and I'm going to go check on that trophy count real quick. I believe this is 8,000 trophies versus how much, Takeshi?
9,000 for Ninjas.
8,000 versus 9,000. So a slight advantage going to be going over to Ninja's Hyper, but we're hopefully going to be seeing a little bit of a nice competitive match coming out from these two here. Or maybe reorient those player cams now that I'm looking at them. They're pointed just a tad bit low. We're going to see if we can fix that between matches here as we get set up for the semifinals. But players, are we ready?
Just comparing some match history, it looks like real quick, but obviously that's a great color commentary bit for me to talk about. Yeah, the camera's really just catching the backsides of each of our players here. Really intriguing gameplay here.
Yeah, that pointed just a little bit too low. That's on me. Are you guys ready to play? All right, our players look like they are ready to play, so we can go ahead and hop on into the match. Start it up when you're ready, guys.
Can you imagine, for those of you who are watching any of the Valorant stuff that we put on the last couple of years, the Esports at Davis, can you imagine if us as casters, we just got to ask the players, yo, you guys ready to play ball? And we just got an instant answer like that? Unthinkable stuff.
Dude, the Valorant matches never start in time. Oh, we've got archers coming out from both sides. It's potentially a mirror matchup that we're looking at here, so we'll see how this ends up going. We've got Skeletons, Electro Spirit coming out here. I believe that is called the Golden Knight. I actually don't remember his name. I know what he does, but I don't remember his name. The Golden Knight is going to be able to chain dash onto troops on the opposing side here. I'm going to see the Goblin Machine, Goblin Destroyer. I don't know the names of all of these new cards. You see that chain dash coming out here, connection to the tower from that Golden Knight. Goblin Curse is going to get a couple of goblins going down on that tower. 1,500 HP. Oh, connection from the Elixir Golem, and that's just going to be the tower. I mean, there's nothing that he can do about that. A really rough start coming out for Ninja's Hyper, who was the favored matchup coming into this.
Yeah, so much damage on that initial push. You actually had a ton of cards coming out on that same combination, all boosted up by that rage with the is it the Elixir Golem? Is that exactly
the Elixir Golem, as well as the Goblin Curse, which has damage amplification. I believe it's about 30%, if I'm not mistaken. So it is quite a significant amount. Nexpo is going to come on out from Ninja's Hyper. This is his win condition right here. I was suspecting it was Expo when the archers came out, but I wasn't exactly quite sure. But the Elixir Golem is going to be able to tank that up. Tesla's going to go down, and that's going to be the Expo taken down. Fireball comes out just a little bit too late, not going to be able to defend the Expo, but it does stop the push fairly effectively, and you're going to get a little bit of damage out from, oh, actually no damage, so just down one tower for Ninja's Hyper here, about 1 minute and 13 seconds to bring it back here.
It is still worth noting, that's a lot of Elixir and a lot of cards invested into that defense there onto that Expo. You're not really getting any damage back.
Second one coming out. I mean, that Knight's going to be able to tank up a little bit, but Golden Knight's going to be able to time out that Expo pretty quickly. Elixir Golem comes out. The Elixir Golem is an incredibly effective card on that defense, right? It's 3 Elixir. Yes, it does give your opponent some Elixir when they kill it, but it's so easy, just so much HP for such a cheap amount of Elixir coming out here, and that's going to get a little bit of chip damage on that tower, but an Expo's going to be dropped right away in response. Tesla going to be dropped to defend it.
But it feels like all that you really have to do if you have this one tower lead is you really are just playing advantages. You're just stuffing the point of attack, right? It's like Clash Royale 101. It's like football 101, to be honest. You're just hitting this one gap. You just need to defend all the damage that this Expo can bring.
Yeah, a little bit of bridge spam coming out from Ninja's Hyper, but that Goblin Curse, the damage amplification, is just going to take everything out. Another Expo being dropped here, down to 4 Elixir. Not a whole lot left for Clash to defend, but that Goblin Destroyer is already out onto the field. Those rockets doing incredible splash damage to the bridge spam from Ninja's Hyper with 6 seconds left to go. It just looks like it's hopeless for him. There's really not much to be done here. And that's going to be a quarterfinal victory for CORSAIR.
And so important to note, on that top side of our bracket, both of the upsets, you saw the 10 seed just take down the 1 seed in the first matchup, and now you see the 9 seed take down the 2 seed. We'll see if those trends continue moving on to quarterfinal number 3 as I get adjusted in this bracket.
Oh, I need new friend links from one of you guys because both of them have expired. I'm going to go ahead and throw up break screen really quick. quick as we get our friendly situation sorted out.
Talk to me. That works.
All right, team, we're back. Just a little bit of a hiccup when it comes to the friend base. I had the players submit friend links when they first showed up, when they first signed up, and fortunately, apparently those links actually expire after a while, which is kind of crazy to me. But Takeshi, if you want to entertain the crowd for a little bit, I'm going to go fix the player cams.
What exactly do you want me to do to entertain the crowd?
Say something funny.
I get muted? Could you hear me the whole time?
I don't know.
That's
Is
a
the
great
stream able
question.
to hear us? Why is it so interesting? Oh, they can hear you.
Okay. Well, they didn't hear me a second ago.
That's
so
odd.
It's
Yeah,
all go.
they weren't able to hear you just a second ago. That was weird. You guys good?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. You guys missed the worst joke I've ever told. All
Honestly,
good.
dude, like at this point, the stream is like quite scuffed anyways. It's okay. We've gotten used to it.
We used to follow our budget on Throwdown, fellas. Sorry about that one.
I mean, that's not technically false, but I mean, it's Clash Royale. It's, you know, all in good fun. We're just trying to, you know, do something funny here. I figured it would be easy for people to come in, sign up, and just play with their own phones. So we're just getting players set up really quick here as we wait on quarterfinal 3 between CN Swen and Peace. This is going to be the number 3 seed versus the number 6 seed coming into the bracket. We had 16 players come in, and we've already played the round of 16. There were how many upsets, Takeshi?
There were 4 upsets, I believe.
All? Wow. That's actually a pretty high rate. But given that Clash Royale,
Sorry,
we're
3
doing,
upsets. 3 upsets. Apologies.
right, and we're doing best of 1 matches. So there is a good amount of upset capability, upset potential coming out here. But it looks like we're just about maybe ready for players to hop on in. So I'm gonna look to maybe get them started. It looks like the players are ready, so let's go ahead and get the match started.
The most color commentary I can really provide is just that I don't see any iPads here. What do you think of that tech decision, Alex?
I think it's mostly just a matter of people playing with what they already have. I mean, I don't think anyone's serious enough to come in and actually bring their own iPad. But again, we're going to hop into the match here between C and Swen and Peace, both hanging out at 10 Elixir for a little bit here. Ice Spirit going to come on out. Goblin's going to get frozen. Nice little kite coming out from C. And Swen, Cannon should take care of everything there. Looks like he's playing a little bit of log bait here. That first Goblin Barrel is going to come on out, and we're going to see the log in response. Pretty standard given that, log in the starting hand is, I believe, has a 60-something 6 and 8 probability. I don't know how starting hands work. Hog Rider is going to come on out. It looks like we're playing 2.6 here on the side of Peace, so that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how we sort of counter that from C and Swen, because Hog, as we know, 2.6 is a pretty fast cycle, and we're going to see those logs come back pretty quickly. Firecracker getting a little bit of splash damage. Unfortunately, not going to be able to activate the king.
So honestly, anytime that you mention any sort of hog cycle, it just brings back bad memories for me. And as somebody who hasn't played this game a ton in recent years, any sense of familiarity is not really a welcome sight.
Yeah, I mean, that log did get a nice little collateral there. That Firecracker finally getting taken out after getting so much value, getting taken down to 1 HP. That tower going to make quick work of it. Pekka is ambling down that left lane there. Peace is going to be able to kite it over with an Ice Golem. Unfortunately, it did get kited the wrong direction, so it's going to get killed a little bit faster than would have hoped. That Cannon should hopefully, makes quick work of the rest of that Pekka. And we're just, back to a sort of an even cycle here. Actually, C and Swen ahead by about 4 Elixir almost, able to drop a Knight on the field, and also, hanging out at 10 a little bit before Peace is able to. That log is going to get seen early. Interesting. Not used in response to a Goblin Barrel here, and there's the Goblin Barrel. Fireball is the last card in Peace's deck. That's going to come on out and take out the Goblin Barrel. King Tower finally activated by the Firecracker there. That should hopefully work in Peace's favor just a little bit. He is behind by about 700 HP right now, 2,300 on his right tower.
And the space and pace so far that Sinsin's build has been able to accomplish here with that Elixir advantage that you've been pointing out, and just the way that the game has been slowed down, the Hog Rider has been very, very ineffective.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen it break through quite yet. 40 damage on the tower right now is all we've gotten. That Hog Rider there might get one hit. Oh no, it gets taken out by those skeletons just a little bit too early. Firecracker, again, getting so much value. That troop is so hard to kill effectively just because of that knockback every time it shoots, right?
I looked at the split push activity here.
Those goblins going to get a good amount of chip damage there. 2,600 HP on the tower, and a little bit more splash going onto that King Tower. Not too big of a deal quite yet. Firecracker stays alive, and that Pekka is going to be a pretty big problem for Peace here. That Cannon's going to be able to survive for a little bit, but Firecracker getting another shot off on that tower. 2,000 HP. That Goblin Barrel is going to just get even more damage. Sudden death kicking in now. 2 extra minutes of time.
And this is the most competitive quarterfinals we've had so far, for sure, right, Alex? Like, none of the other ones made it to overtime.
That's for sure, yeah. We're looking at the closest match so far, and even then, Peace is behind by about 800 HP right now, but it's easily made back. That's 2 Hog Rider hits. I think at this level, maybe 3. I think it does about 300 damage per hit at the tournament level here. Firecracker getting a little bit more splash onto that right tower here, taking it down to 1,800 HP. And it's going to get kited all the way backwards to that Hog Rider. That's a little bit unfortunate. Goblin Barrel is going to come on right out. Unfortunately, the Fireball needs to be forced to take that out. So that's a -1 for Peace.
And all this cycling, all these trades back, you're just playing the clock, right? You've got a minute left, time is your best friend, you've slowed this game down, and you still have a card to play if you're CNC.
Yeah, at this point, it's really just about running the clock down without taking any damage. He just needs to play a perfect defense. Doesn't really matter if he's doing extra damage. I mean, it's obviously a bonus that Goblin gets another stab there on the tower, but, the difference between winning by 300 and 500 HP doesn't really make a difference here, right? Because we're not playing by HP difference. That Hog Rider does get a hit, though. A little glimmer of hope for Peace as triple Elixir hits, 40 seconds left to make up the 1,000 HP deficit that we're seeing so far. That Pekka's not going to be able to get a hit off on the Hog Rider. It's going to just target the Tesla instead. Goblin Rider comes out, unfortunately forces that Fireball once again. Peace not doing the greatest of jobs holding that log for the Goblin Barrel. There's too many things being forced out. Like that log is going to be used again on the offense. And that Pekka's going to be able to take out the cannon, but not before another Fireball is forced out. There's 3 Firecrackers in the right-hand side lane.
And at this point in the game, right, you're just playing pure panic. You have to go off of instinct. You cannot react measuredly to any of this stuff. You just have to go off of what your next play is here. And it feels like he's done enough to drain off the clock.
Yep, with sudden death going to be kicking in there. That's going to be the victory for CN Swen. Moving on to the semifinals, knocking out Peace. That was an expected result, I believe, given that we are seeing the number 3 taking out the number 6 here. And we're going to go ahead and get that 4th semifinal set up here in a second. We're going to go ahead and make sure our event links are working. It looks like Black Arrow's link is working, so if you want to add him, it should work. But yeah, we're going to be wrapping up the quarterfinals really soon here. We've got our final matchup between Butterhugger and Black Arrow, which...
this is the 4 seed taking on the 5 seed, Alex.
4 versus 5. Okay, so we're still waiting on the update. It looks like Peace is still showing up.
All good. Alex is just adjusting a couple of things pertaining to the graphics real quick, just making sure that everyone's name is displayed for themselves when they do get their moment in the limelight on the center stage here.
Yeah, we had a crash, unfortunately, on that Google Sheet importer, so we're running again the back end of everything off of Google Sheets. If you saw my panel earlier today, I talked a little bit about that in terms of data-driven broadcast design, but I'm not going to get too much into it here. We're just trying to watch some Clash Royale gameplay here. This is the 4 seed versus the 5 seed, and can I get those trophy counts again?
9K apiece, Alex.
9K apiece. So we're looking at a top of the top matchup here. Hopefully we're going to see something good.
The one thing I really, and this is not a knock necessarily on how we've set up this tournament, but rather just the fault lies within the format itself. Best of 1 invariably just has so much that can go differently. Obviously, you have tremendous upset potential, but also once you get into these playoffs matchups, you don't necessarily have a chance to adapt really to anything that your opponent's throwing at you. You really have to be very instinctive about it on the fly, right? You have just the plays that you can make with the deck that you have. Whereas once we make it to our grand finals, Alex, how many games did you predict that we were going to go to there?
I mean, we're looking at a best of 7 matchup for grand finals, and for 3rd place, it's going to be, I believe, a best of 5 depending on time here. So once you get up into those top 4, we're looking at, you know, a good amount of play happening. It's really just about making it there. Just because of time constraints, we weren't able to, you know, do best of 3s for everyone. But it looks like we're getting set up here on our final 2 contestants here.
Our final 2 quarterfinals.
Our final
right?
2 quarterfinals.
There you go.
That is correct. I don't quite see Black Arrow online quite yet, so I'm going to see if maybe we can solve that problem. I don't know if that's a me problem or an Ethan problem. All right, broadcast. We are back. We're looking for our fourth and final quarterfinal matchup here. We've got that friend link situation figured out. There's just a little bit of another one of those link expiring moments there. Unfortunate, but it happens. Not much that you can do here, but I've got Butter Hugger added, and we're going to be looking to get into our final quarterfinal matchup really soon.
And for those of you who might not have been listening to the post game that we had in between quarterfinal number 3 and this one here, quarterfinal 4, this is the most even trophy count matchup that we have here. This is the 4 seed taking on the 5 seed. This is one of those chalk predictions that a lot of people would be making when they see, you know, quarterfinals and you have your matchups against those double-digit teams. What do you think here, Alex? What do you expect to see from these decks we've seen so far? We've actually seen some good variety.
That is pretty true. I mean, I think that Goblin Demolisher deck was one of the more unique ones that I've seen. I don't think I've seen that deck before. I don't know if that's a particularly meta deck, but you know, that is one of the more unique ones. I'm not entirely sure where that lies, but I'm excited to see what decks these guys are pulling out here. I have a terrible memory. I have the memory of the goldfish, so once we get to semifinals, it's going to be tough to see if I actually remember what people were playing in the quarterfinals. I doubt that they would be picking the same deck, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So once you get into those best of series, Alex, can we expect to see some deck adaptations here? Can we see some matchup differences, or are we really only bringing one?
I would expect that there would be at least adaptations, especially in that best of 7. There's no way you're going to be playing 4 matches in a row of the same deck. Like, at some point, you're just going to get a hard read on your opponent. There's really nothing you can do about it, right? You have to switch things up and get that deck swapped. But it looks like our players are ready, so we're going to go ahead and get that match started between our final 2 quarterfinalists here.
Excellent stuff, and I cannot wait. Me personally, I cannot wait to reseed these brackets.
Yep, we're just waiting on the friendly to get started. As soon as Butterhugger goes into battle, we're going to go ahead and switch over, and we'll take a look at what we've got here in our quarterfinal. Oh, there we go. All right, folks. This is quarterfinal 4 between Black Arrow and Butterhugger. 10 elixir apiece on each side. We're going to see a princess come out. Looks like it might be log bait coming out from Black Arrow, which is a pretty popular deck in the current meta. Yep, there's that goblin barrel. So we're going to hopefully maybe see a log. It looks like Electro Wizard's going to be forced out here. Small Smell might not have been in the opening hand there for Butterhugger, so a little bit of unfortunate circumstances there. But the Electro Wizard should do pretty good against that goblin gang later in that game. Battle Ram's going to come on out and he's going to get that charge off and see if it looks like Inferno Tower's going to be able to fight that over. That should take care of the Barbarians pretty easily. Magic Archer will take care of the Knight coming down the right-hand side lane.
It's going to be all about chip damage, right? With these fast-paced arrow bait or whatever small removal bait decks, you have to just take your small wins where you can get
Bandit connection onto the tower. That's going to be a lot of damage there, taking it down to 2,200. And the Magic Archer on that left side, 2,600 and 2,200 for each tower. And that Royal Ghost splash damage is going to be able to take care of that Goblin gang here. Princess is going to get kited out by that Royal Ghost just for a little bit before locking onto the tower. It'll be interesting to see what the response is. It looks like the Electro Wizard will be able to zap the Knight over there. Fireball forced out by the Goblin Barrel, though, unfortunately.
That's a nice positive trade, but it feels like so far the elixir has been pretty even for both sides, wouldn't you say, Alex?
Yep, for sure. A little bit of chip damage coming out from Black Arrow as well. I mean, 2,700 apiece. I mean, 2,500 now on that left-hand side tower. Magic Archer going to be able to get that collapse snipe onto the tower here. 2,300 HP on Black Arrow's left tower, and a couple more shots will take it down even further now. Just that chip damage is really, really hurting for Black Arrow now. Just over 2,000 HP on each side now.
And it is important to note there are still 2 cards missing from both teams, right? From both sides here. And as you approach this double elixir time, you best make good use of it here.
I expect that one of Black Arrow's last 2 cards is going to be the big spell, perhaps a lightning or a rocket, fireball, something like that. Electro Wizard is going to be forced out again on that right-hand side. It looks like Butterhugger doesn't actually have log in this deck, which is a little bit unfortunate for him. But Fireball taking out that Princess is going to mean a little bit of chip damage as well on that tower. Not Ice Wizard. Electro Wizard not quite able to get the shot off, and it looks like one of Butterhugger's last 2 cards was that P.E.K.K.A. This is One of the classic backup beatdown decks I've seen a lot. It was really popular a couple years ago. And Zap is going to be your final card there. Looks like he was holding it this entire match. Felt confident that he wouldn't need to use the Zap on that Goblin Barrel. And I mean, it looks like he hasn't really. Another bit of damage coming out from that left tower, and the Bandit connection is going to take it down. That might be the tower.
Yeah, that is so much damage, right? And it's not that there's no response from the opposite side from Black Arrow, it's just that the damage coming through from Butterhugger's composition here is simply too much to deal with on that side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, that Goblin Barrel is really his last up, and the Fireball just getting taken, going to take it out. I mean, he is so far up Butterhugger, and there's just nothing you can do. And that tower is going to get taken out by the Royal Ghost at the very start of overtime, and that is going to mean Butterhugger moves on to the semifinals, and we're going to get that reseeded for you in just a second. Hang tight. It'll be about a 5-minute wait. We'll be right back.
No! No! Hooray!
That's what I'm on, yeah. Give me something I can feel.
I hope you guys enjoyed that cameo by Rose from Blackpink. I'm sure you really appreciated that one too. We'll be hopping into our semifinals matchups here. These are again going to be best of ones, but all of these players are going to get another chance to play. If they lose here, they'll go to the third place matchup, which will be a best of 5, and if they win, they'll be going to the best of 7 finals matchup. So again, a lot on the line here. Again, this is sponsored by CORSAIR. Massive shout out to them for providing us with their prizing. First place is going to be winning, I believe it's a K70 Pro Core Wireless in a charcoal colorway, I believe. So that's like a nice 70% keyboard from CORSAIR, and second and third place are each going to be getting a Void V2 wireless headset. So we're going to be playing that semifinal matchup in really quick here. We're going to get Soon and what was the matchup?
Cian Soon and Superb.
Cian Soon and Superb are going to come on up here. Again, we'll be Soon on the far chair and Superb on the close one.
And it is worth noting that while I am absolutely stun-locked from what Alex is playing during intermission, we've got some fantastic prizes here. Maybe not necessarily what you picture for something like a Clash Royale tournament, but fantastic, fantastic prizing nonetheless.
Yep, and I believe we are at the point where now everyone in the tournament has 9,000 trophies. So am I incorrect on that? This is check
No.
out Superb.
No, Superb actually is the lowest rated player still left in the event at 78-74.
Okay, great. So we are going to be looking at a little bit of an upset matchup here for Superb, but hopefully we'll be able to pull something out here. I do have Soon on my friends list, so in just 1 second we should be able to head on out.
I'm here.
All right, cool. You guys can start it up. Oh yeah, we'll let them figure out the friend. Yeah, they're not friends quite yet on the Clash Royale platform, so we're gonna let them take some time to figure that out. While I stall for time. I'm terrible at that.
It's okay. It would be there would be a lot more to talk about if we were able to either start on time and have longer matches, right? Because then you could talk about the history that both of these players have been on. But really, it's just a question of upset watch, because Superb winning that first round matchup against Matthew, the presumptive #1 seed based off of preliminary seeding and everything like that. Nice road here so far to the semifinals. Everything here being best of 1 really does just mean it just comes down to how good of a read do you have on the other guy.
That is true. Yeah, I mean at this point, this best of 1 is just a straight look at their deck and hope that you have the counter to it. I mean, again, if you don't play a counter deck, right, then you're also just a little bit cooked. There's nothing you can do about it.
So how would you personally approach something like this one, Alex? Because for me, if I were in a competition where it was best of 1, I would just be playing my style. I would just be playing my deck. I wouldn't think about anti-stratting anyone per se. But we've seen some very, very contrasting styles so far throughout top 8.
That is true. I think it really depends on how confident you feel as a flexible model, right? If you think that you can put together a deck that is counteractive to your opponent's playstyle on the spot, play it well, and not make any execution errors, then absolutely, by all means, go for it. But I think for a lot of players, the safest bet is to just play what they know and hope that they are just a stronger player than their opponent, right? But really, by the time, we are already in the match. I didn't even look. Okay, we're gonna get started here. Looks like we didn't really miss a whole lot. Just going to be a minor drop coming in from Soon. He's going to make connection to the tower. Bandit's going to be dropped in dash range. He's going to get a little bit of extra damage there. 2,700 HP on Superb's tower.
And if we take a look at some of these cards that are coming out here, you're going to notice basically the exact same cards coming through. The wall breaker, right? That was so important in the quarterfinals series.
That's actually the bomber.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yep. There are two skeletons with bombs in this game. One of them will run at your tower, the other one just chucks bombs. But the one that chucks bombs is based off of the wall breaker in Clash of Clans, but not called the wall breaker. It is a little bit confusing.
Too many skeletons, too many bombs.
Indeed. But interesting choice here. It seems like Soon has switched over to the Cannoneer Tower troop. I don't believe he was playing this in his quarterfinals matchup. The Cannoneer, for those who don't know, does output a higher DPS compared to the Princess Towers at the expense of shooting extremely slowly. So it hits hard but does not hit often. And we see Superb over here with the Royal Chef here, which is able to level up troops very periodically with those pancakes. We saw Soon was able to actually bait out one of the players earlier and get the tower to waste one of them. So a nice little up there for him.
Would have been nice to see if maybe the little bit different log placement also allowed it to get some chip damage there on the tower. But I mean, in this game of incremental advantages, it feels like CNSoon has the advantage right now.
For sure, yeah, 1600 HP on that Superb tower, especially playing the Cannoneer into this comp. I mean, it is fairly well suited for the Cannoneer. Those bats are going to be a problem, unfortunately. But outside of that, I mean, the rest of the troops are fairly easy to deal with, right? We have a lot of single target troops with a decent amount of HP, right? Most of these are not going to be dying in one shot from the Cannoneer, which is the important part. We have the Bandit, we have the Battle Run, Executioner, Roguist. All of these troops are single target. Poison coming out from Soon here, doing a little bit of chip damage on that tower and taking out the Executioner pretty easily. And the Cannoneer will make quick work of the Royal.
I mean, honestly, that's a ton of damage, right? Are we below half health there on Superb's left side tower?
Yeah, we're looking at these towers are. I mean, I think they're 2,900 HP full HP. So, yeah, that is already below half, far below half as well. Actually, that Battle Ram is going to get easily kited out by that log and Cannon combo. Barbarians should be fairly quick. Fireball is going to take out most of that cannon, but not before Tekka is taken care of on Soon's side of the battlefield. Bomber's going to be making its way up that left lane here with the minor connection to the tower, taking just a little bit more chip damage. But Poison, really, really smart there by Soon, able to take out those bats, which are actually, surprisingly, the biggest problem that the Cannoneer has to deal with is shooting a lot of small, squishy targets, right? Because you don't get a lot of shots with that Cannoneer.
Nicely timed log as well to stop that charge, preserving the cannon for a little bit longer on that defensive side. But now that we're here in double elixir time, in overtime, this massive health advantage that CNSoon has to play with is really going to come into play.
Yeah, for sure. That P.E.K.K.A. is going to be able to stave off the attack for a little bit longer, but that miner goes direct to tower, so there's really not much he can do except kill it fast or drop something that'll block it. And again, that's another 200 damage off of Superb's towers. He's just going to slowly bleed to death, right? That log is going to get, keep all those troops inside that poison for an extra tick. That Executioner is gone. The Bandit is gone. I mean, that I almost chain dashed, actually. That could have been bad, but, you know, we were able to take care of that. We have the, you know, miner connecting again on that tower, more and more chip damage. I mean, we're taking it down to 500, 550, just now below 500 almost.
It's just so obnoxious, right? But slow and steady wins the race, and right now, I mean, not only is it tons and tons of damage to that tower, but it's also just an ironclad defense that's coming through from CNSoon's side. It feels like as we head into triple elixir time, Superb's going to have to do something special to wrestle this one back.
Yeah, I mean, we forced out a P.E.K.K.A. on that miner now, and that poison's going to take the tower down to, I think, just under 200 HP, so he does not have a lot of wiggle room to work with here. There pretty much needs to be a perfect defense coming out here before the next poison comes back into cycle. Okay, the poison did come back into cycle, but he's played on defense. It's just too much elixir on the field for him to ignore. But, I mean, next poison that comes into cycle, assuming that there isn't a lot of craziness happening on the field, it should just be dropped on the tower. That should just be the victory for Soon. Worst case scenario, he runs down the clock. We have 25 seconds left for Superb to do 1,700 damage to a tower, and honestly, I just don't see a way that happens. The miner is 3 hits away, poison's going to get dropped on the tower, and that's just going to be the victory. CNSoon moving on to the best of 7 finals matchup, but it's not going to be the end for Superb quite yet. We're going to see him back in the 3rd place matchup, which is going to be played right after we get into semifinal 2, which is Butter Hugger against Clasher.
And 1 second while I update, obviously, the current match stuff here. you hear that, Alex?
I did hear that. So our fourth place player actually has to leave, so he is going to be forfeiting that fourth place matchup. So we'll play potentially a show match. We'll see how it goes. We'll play the best of 7 finals first, but it looks like the loser of this matchup is guaranteed third place. So that's a fun little bonus for them.
It is very nice for them, actually, and that means that you're not really in the money per se, but you are in the prizing, as it were.
That is very, very true. All right, I've got both of these guys added. Who are we spectating on blue side? Do you want Butterhugger on blue side, or do you want Clasher on blue side?
Who do we got in chat, fellas? What do you guys think?
I don't think we have a chat right now. We've got a couple of chatters actually, but I mean, audience, what do you think? You think we should spectate Clasher or Butterhugger on blue side? Anyone have a preference? I don't think anyone cares. It's fine. All right. What did we say? Are you guys ready to play? You gonna friend each other? You're good. They're still deciding their decks, so we're gonna stall on the air for a couple more seconds here as we wait on deck selection and for the match to get started.
I mean, all things considered so far, this VO1 timing and schedule have really, despite some, invariable hiccups here and there, it feels like we've been on pretty good pace since we actually got things started, Alex. When did they kick us out of the building?
We shouldn't get kicked out of the building for a long time.
Excellent.
Because we do have it reserved for cleanup for a while. And looks like our players are just about ready to get on in, so you guys should be good to start that matchup. If I can find my mouse, there it is. All right, so we're going to get into match real quick here.
And this is kind of a weird thing to say with the second and final semi-final that we're headed into right here. But with the FF of our fourth place player, Superb, who we just saw lose in that 1-0 game against Soon, this really is a no-loss situation because the loser here gets third place by default, and they're going to walk away with prizing regardless.
That is true, yeah. They'll be getting that nice Void V2 wireless from CORSAIR, the amazing sponsor of this tournament. And both players here just kind of playing chicken here, sitting at 10 elixir. Whoever is going to make the move first, we'll see.
What are your thoughts, Alex,
on
these sort of standoffs? Are you usually the one to act first, or do you like to be more reactive?
I don't like to sit at 10. As soon as my elixir bar hits 10, I am dropping something on the field. I have been taught from a young age that sitting at 10 elixir is not a good thing to do.
Yeah, it's just like having your money there and not doing anything with it.
Right, exactly. And that battle ram looks like it's still going to get a connection. It's not going to be a charge connection, but that Goblinstein ability now is going to be a pretty long electric charge. So you got to watch out for that. It doesn't look like it's going to get popped quite on this particular drop of the Goblinstein, but totally could be something that Butterhugger now has to watch out for on future cycles.
That was a ton of damage on that left side tower there. The trade was not fair in the slightest.
Oh yeah, totally. I don't even remember what even got that much damage. It was the battle ram that got a slow connection and still did 1,500 damage to Clasher's tower. I mean, that's just not fair.
You can't ignore anything in this game, right? You have to deal with every threat as it comes to you, and that's part of the versatility required to play a game like this.
Right. I think, you can ignore some things. I think there's a good amount of skill in knowing when you can tank damage, when you're going to trade it back for more instead of spending some elixir to try to negate all damage. That Magic Archer doesn't get pulled by the tornado. A little bit of a whiff there from Clasher. The oopsie mode coming out here. That Kalai is going to do a hell of a lot of damage now, just down to under 900 HP on Clasher's tower. But again, not too big of a loss here. If he does, walk away defeated in this particular matchup, he will still get that headset.
Yeah, again, feels pretty good to have that. But look at this two-pronged attack coming through from Clasher. The Graveyard, right?
If that Goblinstein connects, that is a lot of ability damage. That Graveyard already dealing so much to that tower. I mean, 1,600 HP. Goblinstein is going to be... Oh, ability is going to get popped, but it's going to get taken out pretty quickly. Not sure if that was a particularly worth ability. A little bit of BM coming out from Butterhugger there. Well played. Fireball value there is totally worth it. Taking out most of that Witch. Easywiz is going to take care of the rest of it. And that Giant Scale will continue to get kited out. Magic Archer is going to be able to take care of a lot of that Graveyard, although Zap will have to be forced out. The Magic Archer doesn't shoot as fast as it used to, and unfortunately that just makes it not nearly as strong on that Graveyard defense.
Graveyard really is just a very obnoxious card, right, that you can tack on to the end of some of these counter pushes that you have after defending stuff. That's that push and pull from the game that you're used to seeing. But now as we head into sudden death here, this health advantage cannot be ignored for Butterhugger.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we're at under 500 HP on Clasher's Tower, although that Goblin-Stein ability is going to tick it down, take Butterhugger's Tower down to just under 1,000 HP, which is, I mean, not an insignificant amount of damage. We're looking at still a fairly close game. It could go anyone's way.
How many fireballs does it take at this rank, Alex, in order to take out that left side tower?
I believe it should be 2, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's about 300 damage per fireball. Yeah. Oh, actually, it's less than that. It's just over 200. So it should be 3 fireballs. He has 2 more cycles to go.
Okay, well, that's another graveyard that's going to get dropped in, and it feels like the Wiz has to be used here.
Coming down. I mean, oh, Goblin-Stein connection on that left side. That ability should be able to take it most of the way down, and that's going to be the game. Clasher, an absolutely masterful comeback, takes it in semifinal 2, and he is going to be our other finalist joining CN soon. As we are going to get set up, I believe we should just be able to switch over to the finals screen in just a second here as we get things set up.
And as I get this current match thing updated, I will actually have the records of each player next to here. So we'll leave it as is for now.
Yep, we're currently at 0-0. CN Soon, sorry.
Here we go.
I was saying CN Swen earlier, and then I was corrected on pronunciation.
We're relapsing here on broadcast.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so bad. Anyway, CN Soon and Clasher are going to get pulled up for finals here. I don't know where they are. They should be in the room somewhere. I see one of them. Where's Clasher?
Probably just stepped out for a second, expecting a bit of the same break that we had between the quarterfinals and the semifinals.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't know where the guy went. All right, well, we will stall for time for a little bit while we wait for Clasher to come on back. He might be just like using the restroom or something. I'll get. But I mean, how are we feeling about semifinals? I think that was a reasonably more competitive set of matches, and I'm hoping to see a little bit more adaptation coming through in that best of 7 finals. I would hate to see 4 or 5 matches of the same deck matchups, but I mean, who knows?
That's what one would expect, right? That when you have a multi-game series, that there is some thought that goes into the chess match, right? Of moving pieces around, like, hey, I have this specific tech answer for you. Hey, I have this answer for your answer. I think the decider game to watch is when it's at 2-1, 2-2. Obviously, it's whoever takes that 5th game. I think is usually going to be the one who wins that series. Whoever gets 2-3 first. Well, to the 3rd point of the 4 that you need to win the best of 7. There we go. That's basic math.
Yeah, match point is, I think, really strong in Clash Royale because you can really just force the hand of your opponent, right? At that point, you're playing on desperation, and desperation is not the thing that you want to be playing on in Clash Royale. That is, I don't think it's ever ended well for anyone when they're panicking. So I think you definitely want to play with a cool head. You want to try to get that early advantage, right? You want to be the person who is controlling the flow of the match.
Yeah, and if you can actually manage to get a game at, I would actually go so far as to say, this feels like a fighting game sort of thing, right? Whereas when you're in the best of 7, it's almost worth it to, I'm not necessarily saying you throw the game one necessarily for the download, but you definitely will pay something to get that information.
Right. I have seen matches, right, where you win those first 3 straight, but then your opponent is getting a read in those first 3 matches, right? You may not necessarily be playing entirely to win, but instead playing to, see what that playstyle is, right? Draw out the matches a little bit longer and try to get a better read on your opponent. And then you use those last couple of matches to really push hard for that victory. And sometimes, if your opponent's not really paying attention, right, you're up 3-0, you're going to get a little bit complacent. And I think some people, if they're not really paying attention, they could just get reverse swept in those situations.
And I would definitely caution against complacency here and in all aspects of life, really. But with that being said, I would go so far as to say the first 2 or 3 games of that best of 7 are basically all feeling out. And I would expect them to be split, 2-1 right down the middle, or about as down the middle as the best of 3 could be.
Yeah, we're hoping for that for sure. I mean, we're looking at 9,000 trophies on either side, right? So these are both experienced Clash Royale players. They definitely know what they're doing.
We're looking at 9,000 versus 8,000.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so we're not at a 9K versus 9K finals matchup. I actually still don't know where our other finalist is, and our first finalist has now just left the room, so we now have 0 finalists in the room. So, yeah, we're doing great.
All good. Pretty soon I'm going to have to play against Alex. It's not going to end well for me.
Yeah, soon we're going to end up at like -1, and we're going to have like 2 players at 6K playing each other for the 2 cards. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. I think they're looking for the last finalist. Hopefully they come back soon. It's not like I can just abandon the broadcast. We'll see how this goes.
Back when I played Alex, 4,400 was a lot.
Yeah, 4,000 was Legendary Arena for a long time, and then they upped it to 5,000. And then there was a big paradigm shift where they moved ranked out into their what they call now the
Trophy Road or whatever.
Trophy Road is the like story mode.
Oh,
That's like the campaign mode. You can't derank in Trophy Road.
that makes no sense.
Not possible. 9,000 is the max trophies, and once you hit 9,000, you're just there.
All right, be it far from me to ever complain about anything that a game developer does.
Right, and so what they did is they took out ranked, right, the old like Challenger 1, Challenger 2, all of those leagues, and they moved them into what they now call the Path of Legends, where they have a different system with ranked, where they call, I think, like stone steps and gold steps. So each win gets you 1 step on the ladder, and some steps are golden steps in the sense that they're like ladder breakpoints where you can't fall out of them. But there's other ones where you will lose and you can still lose trophy, or you can lose like win points, I guess you can almost call them. So they sort of split out the like trophy system. So now your progression with cards is not linked to your ranked performance, and so you can push for challenger ranks without actually having all the cards you want.
Well, that's actually a crazy way to think of it. And honestly, that would have been absolutely unthinkable right back in the era where we might have, I say we, but maybe we played during a different time, Alex. When's the last time that you were really playing Clash Royale?
Playing Clash Royale, it's hard to say. I started playing in 2016 when the game released, a couple months after with the release of the game, and I'm trying to think when I think the last time I was really active was when when like Legendary Arena was still 5,000 trophies and they didn't have the new system yet. I mean, again, I will play occasionally. There's always times when I'm just like, hey, I'll hop on and play a couple games for fun, but where are our finalists? That is the real question.
Well, we had some audience intervention letting us know that they were using the restroom. Eventually, we'll have some of our people back.
Where's our other
sweat,
finalists?
for sure.
Oh, both of them are back. Okay, incredible. All right, so we're going to go ahead and sit you guys down. I believe it is going to be soon on the far chair and Clash Royale, the close one. It's going to be the best of 7. Deck switches between matches are allowed, so you guys are good to... Deck switches are allowed between matches. Best of 7.
Do you want to trim it down?
First to 4.
Contestant sounding a little bit surprised, called unawares by the best of 7 revelation dropped by Alex, but this is common knowledge. It was announced at the beginning of the event, kind of.
Nonetheless, we're going to treat this like it's the CRL World Finals, right? We're looking at that best of 7, just like in CRL. Actually, I think CRL might only be doing BO4 or BO5s for finals, so we're actually one-upping them with this.
I believe it was a BO5. I actually watched the VOD for the most recent one on my way up here, trying to figure out exactly what on earth is going on in this game, in this crazy game that I really haven't played in about 7 years. So.
Oh yeah, I mean in CRL they're allowed to play with evolutions too, so it's even more crazy. But it looks like our players are just about ready to hop in game. We're gonna waste 0 time getting them in, so you guys can go ahead and get that match started, and we will hop into Game 1 of Grand Finals of Moogie's Tournament of the Crown at Aggie Expo 2025.
Oh my gosh, the contestants are panicking a little bit over it potentially being labeled as a 2v2, but no, it is just the one-on-one. It is the classic, and it's the minor that we saw from Clasher. Sorry,
that's actually soon. Yeah, that's soon. But Clasher dropping that Royal Ghost, so we might be playing that P.E.K.K.A. beatdown deck once again that got him so much success. Oh, nope, that's the boss bandit. I have heard many curses from players about this card. I actually don't know exactly what this card does. All I know is that apparently it's really, really broken.
It looks pretty obnoxious, and any sort of invulnerability and any sort of gap close, right, is always going to be something worth watching.
Yep, for sure. The Musketeer not going to get that connection right again. It's going to get dropped. Miner is going to get a couple shots on that tower. 2, 3 now. 2,700 HP on Clasher's tower. But actually still a health advantage over CN Soon because of that Cannoneer choice that sort of brings that tower's base HP down to just 2,600.
And I think it's less about, actually, as weird as it sounds, it might be less about the number and the way in which, rather than it is the way that these players are going to attack each other. You see that double bandit going against that slower cannoneer that you were mentioning, right? What do you make of that, Alex?
I mean, the double bandit is an interesting choice for sure. I think the invulnerability does make a lot of a difference because I believe it does reset the timer on the cannoneer's shot, which is fairly valuable when it comes to the cannoneer, right? Each shot is doing an insane amount of damage compared to your regular Princess Tower arrows.
I just want to turn both of my side towers into lasers. Can we do that?
Like Inferno Tower side towers?
Oh, I wasn't talking anything that crazy, but I'm down if that's an option.
I think they should add an Inferno Tower tower troop. That would be really interesting to see. But a little bit of chip damage coming out from Soon's miner there, so we're going to take Flash's Tower down to 2300, giving him a little bit of that HP advantage here, and Knight's going to be able to take care of that push, counter push coming back from Flasher, and now a little bit of an elixir advantage for Soon here as he has a little bit more on the field here. That poison's going to get dropped to be able to advantage the Executioner and also take that tower down just a little bit more. I believe it'll be about 2100 HP after that. Miner's still connecting, getting 2 shots there, 2000 HP now on Clasher's Tower.
And I know I sound like a broken record here, but look at Clasher's hand here. He's been holding 2 cards since the beginning of this entire game. The first one's the lightning.
Yeah, that's the big spell that we were talking about last time. That boss bat is going to get another shot off, and still even more, taking that bomber down to just 1 shot from Clasher's Tower. That should be pretty easy to deal with. Unfortunately, that miner is going to connect and gets a couple more shots there. 1900 HP on Clasher's Tower, but the bandit is dashing over onto the close side of the field here. Skeleton's forced out in response to that bandit. Boss bandit going to come on out here, that world champion. With what I believe is a dash back, similar to, if you're familiar with Echo from League of Legends, similar to his ultimate ability, but without the healing.
League of Legends mentioned on broadcast, unbelievable, and still I'm going to continue reiterating, Clasher has a card left to play. What is it exactly, man?
I would expect that he has a small spell and a big spell coming out already, so I don't really see like a particular archetype of card that he's missing here. But again, it's pretty common for players to double up on that small spell, so it's entirely possible he has another one in the back pocket for an emergency use case. But that boss bandit's going to just come on out right again. This time supported by Executioner. He's going to get that dash back using that ability there, and he's going to go below that HP threshold, drop those grenades, and the Ram Rider's going to get a dash, but okay, great. So everything is taken care of, but a little bit of splash damage being thrown onto Soon's towers. 1900 HP, still a healthy lead for him though, about 600 to 700 HP there.
Triple overtime though, and so that big spell that you were talking about, right, that lightning has the opportunity to kick in and really get
there's the lightning cycle coming out here. So we're talking about, that cycle coming out, and we're looking at what, 1600 HP versus that poison cycle going to come through, but the poison cycle is not going to be nearly as effective as the lightning cycle. The only advantage.
Snowball.
Oh, it is Snowball. Yeah, so yeah, it is that sort of second small spell card in the back pocket there. That boss bandit, a little bit of a problem. Lightning cycle coming through once again. There, and I mean at this point, Soon just has to.
Nice
boss
charge.
bandit connection. That's going to be 2 hits. 200 HP left on that tower. That is 1 lightning away from being gone. Everyone's going to be at least. Poison Miner going to come on through here, and there's the lightning, and that's going to be game 1 in the final series, going over to Flasher.
Put that one in the parentheses, up 1-0 in this best of 7 slugfest.
Yep, at this point we're just waiting for the contestants to switch or potentially not switch their decks. It's totally up to them. There is no mandate that they have to play a certain number of different decks throughout the best of 7, but they are allowed to switch if they so choose to do so. It looks like they're already completed making their deck selection, so we're going to go ahead and hop into game 2 of the Grand Finals.
Man, and we're moving so quick. Like I was thinking, like, hey, we were talking about having these for fun CORSAIR tournaments here at Esports at Davis. When's the Hearthstone one dropping? When is my Hearthstone best of 7 dropping? Because I could really drop some knowledge there.
If you can find me 16 or 8 players to play in a Hearthstone tournament, I will win it.
I will send you Jake 16 times, and he will play 16 games.
Just against himself.
It would be really funny.
I think there's a lot of cool games that we could look into. I mean, we've thought about like Pokemon TCG even, right, as an option.
That would be fun.
A little bit of banter coming out from both sides here. It looks like we didn't make any deck swaps, so we're still going to be playing that Boss Bandit deck here with that Poison Cycle. CN soon looking to make a redemption run with that deck, and as well as the Cannoneer selection not going to be changing here.
I wouldn't say that there were no adaptations, though. Look at the Heal Spirit and the Mega Minion coming through from Clasher this time.
Yeah, it is a slightly different archetype of deck. I don't know if we're going to be seeing, the double Bandit coming out as well in this deck, but the Boss Bandit, again, being built around as that win condition. And you saw it, again, getting that one connection on that tower, bringing it down to 2200 HP. A small advantage for Clasher.
So what's your philosophy on these stealth-based sort of cards here that we have in Clash Royale?
As much as I think the Bandit is annoying, I think the Firecracker is by far the most annoying card in the card to deal with.
Gotcha.
Card in the game. Sorry, card in the game to deal with. And I'm getting a massive thumbs up from Butterhugger over there. Firecracker haters.
I thought
Giant's gonna come on out.
I thought we were getting pointed at because we got some Nerf Wars fans in the audience here, and I am not trying to be prime target #1.
Yeah, we're having like assassination attempts happening.
Whoa!
In
Let's
the
not go
crowd
that
here.
crazy.
I don't really know what's going on up there, but a nice little defense coming out from CN soon here, going to take out Clasher's push, countering with that sort of minor push. Still going to get a couple of shots down, but yeah, that Musketeer is going to get taken right on out, and that Heal Spirit's going to get taken out by the Cannoneer, but I believe the ability is still available on the Boss Bandit. It looks like we're going to elect to not pop it on this particular cycle.
You see the Giant and the Prince here coming through from Clasher. This is a totally different feel of deck in game #2.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely not relying on that sort of sneaky bandit connection anymore. We're looking for a more standard sort of just front-to-back push that we're more used to in Clash Royale, I would say.
I'm a big fan of just keeping it traditional and just making sure you have your front line in the front, your back line in the back. You just chill out and you play the game the way it was intended.
Misplaced log coming out from CN soon. I'm not sure if that was misplaced on purpose or if it was actually misplaced, but it does miss that Boss Bandit. Missing on a little bit of shift there. Yeah, that Bomber going to get a little bit of splash on that tower, just a little bit minor. Unfortunately, going to get kited over by that Prince, dropped in a timely manner. Heal Spirit, again, going to get one shot by that Cannoneer, and we're going to kite that Prince out, take it out with some skeletons. No big deal for CN soon.
It's a pretty expensive kind of push from Clasher. Every time he decides to invest any of these Giant and Prince pushes, or Giant and the, sorry, say again, Royal Bandit? Is that what it
Boss Bandit.
Boss Bandit, sorry about that. Great alliteration there, nice naming convention. These pushes are pretty expensive, and it feels like this Giant has been stuffed very well at the point of attack.
Yeah, I think the Giant is doing a lot of work as well as just like a defensive tank, and that Prince is going to be able to hop over that bridge and snipe that cannon out. Poison going to be ticking down on that tower just a little bit. CN soon has built up just a little bit of HP lead, but again, he has to be playing a good, solid defense here in order to make sure nothing goes wrong.
That was a lot of damage through from CN soon onto Clasher's left side tower.
Yeah, those Musketeers, they hurt hard once they've connected. As squishy as they are, they do a hell of a lot of damage. That Mega Minion should be taken care of by Cannoneer. Might get one shot. Does get one, but that Miner is going to be slowly ticking down. Both players sitting at 10 elixir. A little bit of cycle coming in from CN soon. Again, triple elixir. You really have to be, thinking fast, playing a lot of cards. I mean, you're getting elixir. I think it's 2 per second. It looks like at this rate.
You just want to make sure that you're super efficient, right? And you don't want to waste any opportunities here. And really all that CN soon has to do is defend his health advantage for the next 30 seconds here. But this is an onslaught coming through from Clasher's left side.
Yeah, I mean, I just noticed that there's an elixir leak stat in the corner, so I'm going to be talking about that for the rest of the series. But a little bit of more elixir leak from CN soon. That Boss Bandit is going to make a connection, though, and that's going to be the tower coming out from Clasher. A clutch comeback in the last 20 seconds of overtime there. That was a very strong push coming out, and I believe that puts him up 2-0 in the series. Is that correct?
And yes, and that is a crazy caster curse we've been talking about. Just needing to bleed off the clock, play a 30-second health advantage, and really all it took was Clasher's decisive left side push to take that tower.
Yeah, I mean, CN soon here doing some jumpy jacks, getting some blood moving in his body as the people in the back are playing sniper rifles with Nerf guns, it appears. I'm not really sure what's going on. I see someone with like half-length darts back there, though. That looks pretty cool.
Ling, please don't hit me.
Yeah, if I suddenly go silent during a match, it's because someone hit me with a barbed Nerf dart.
And I will take over the play-by-play, and I will simultaneously be calling...
Oh, they have already gotten into game. We are going to spectate.
Those are some quick jumping jacks. That was a quick D-tilt session right there.
Yeah, and we're hopping in just as they hit 10. Another little standoff that we see here. 1 elixir leaked. 1.2 for CN Soon. 1.9 for Clasher. So a little bit of lost value there, but not too bad here. It looks like we've got an entire archetype shift for both players here. We see a Prince and Goblin Gang coming out from Clasher and Tesla Firecracker Goblins. Seems like some. Oh, it looks like it's Log Bay. Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh, it's just such an awful archetype. You see the Rage, though. That's a different look.
Nice King Tower activation there from Clasher. We haven't seen too many of those today, but it looks like he knows what's up when it comes to the Firecracker. Arrow is going to be able to take out the Goblin Barrel from both sides, and it looks like it's pretty clear that we're looking at some form of basic log bait on both sides here. Again, we have the Prince for Clasher here, a little bit of a stronger, more substantial push troop, as opposed to CN Soon, who hasn't really shown a like substantial push troop here so far. And yeah, the Rascals coming out from Clasher again, a little bit more substantial troop.
Yeah, I expect to see some really heavy frontline sort of thing from CN Soon here. Do you have a prediction for what it is? You see the Knight?
The Knight, nice little mini tank, yeah, but that's again more of a defensive card if anything. But that Firecracker should make quick work of that big Rascal there. Yep, not taking any damage either. Goblin Barrel, again, instantly just a response coming out. The Skeletons? Yeah, with the activated King, you don't really need to be as careful about those Goblin Barrels, but again, it's going to get a little bit of chip damage. And CN Soon, again, with an HP lead, but you know he has to make sure that he keeps these HP leads. In the last 2 games, we've seen him have that HP lead early, but then, you know, not able to keep it throughout the entire match.
And you were talking about that stat in the bottom corners, that thing that you really wanted to keep an eye on. Look at how much elixir has been leaked so far by CN Soon relative to how much has been leaked by Clasher. It's almost 3.5 to 1.9. It looks like.
Yeah, I mean the 1 elixir difference I don't think is gonna be much of a match changer, but again, it is an interesting stat to pay attention to. As it looks like both players leaked just a little bit there as well. CN Soon though, he is leaking a hell of a lot, spilling it all over the board.
And that's another nice Firecracker placement, right? Clearing out that whole backside, but now you have that 2-pronged split push getting all drawn to the center.
Ooh, there's the P.E.K.K.A coming out. That is the substantial troop that we were looking for. Goblin Barrel gonna get thrown out there. Arrows makes quick work of it, and that P.E.K.K.A, yeah, it was pretty clutch there on that defense, getting a nice amount of single target damage coming out. Firecracker unfortunately does not survive here, so he's gonna have to put down another one to take care of that Goblin Gang. But should be light work for that Firecracker, and doesn't take any damage on the tower.
It feels so difficult to get any meaningful damage going either which way, right, with these sort of compositions, but you gotta feel like once it hits triple elixir time, that's when I'm really going to be looking at Clasher's composition here to see if he can
Goblin
slam
Barrel,
a like that.
Goblin Curse, and a Rage, but unfortunately the arrows just counters, and the card counting looks like it just might have failed there for Clasher. He might have thought the arrows wasn't in cycle for CN Soon, but he did have it. That's a lot of elixir that just gets denied there for CN Soon. He gets already back to the Goblin Barrel, and look at how much elixir needs to be committed by Clasher in order to take care of that. But the arrows have now been played by Soon. And immediately after you see that Goblin Barrel come out, Skeleton and Goblin Curse with the Rage, but ooh, that is a lot of damage. I mean, that Goblin Curse is able to take out those Swarm cards, and again, the Big Bandit. Yeah, we forced out the Tesla right in front of the tower, and unfortunately now we're down to 500 HP. CN Soon, again, the story of this series, HP leads early, and unfortunately just not able to keep those alive.
Let's see if some things change here, but as we move into that final minute of overtime, that's really where the rubber meets the road here for Clasher's deck, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at, spammy decks for both sides, that's for sure.
But you really gotta get things going here. You gotta clear out these bridge attacks fast.
Yeah, Goblin Barrel's coming out from both sides, so we'll see if Soon is able to deal with it. Yeah, he does have arrows in cycle, but 1,300 versus 400. He has to make up over 1,000 damage in just 40 seconds. He has a triple elixir, but that Goblin Curse actually does a hell of a lot for Clasher. I mean, like, he has so many squishy cards that just get turned into goblins as soon as they die, and that Rage now does damage when it drops, and so we're able to get, just so many goblins, coming out from on Clasher's side, and with that Goblin Curse damage amplification, it's just a wombo combo that's really hard to deal with here. Clasher for the barrel behind, but those arrows are just big enough that it really doesn't matter. Another barrel coming out from soon. Looks like one of them has connected. 2 shots, 3 shots, 7 seconds to go, 700 HP on that tower. Arrows still in play for Soon, but he needs to get 300 damage coming out, and the barrel just doesn't survive. And it's a 3rd match in a row for Clasher. That's what we were talking about earlier, right? We were talking about, you know, that data collection, right? Getting a feel for your opponent, but it's really hard to tell if Soon is really able to adapt, right? It looks like we've had a pretty handy late game victory for Clasher for 3 games in a row now.
It is worth noting, though, at the very least, that the first 2 games it felt like they were blown leads by CNSoon. This time, Clasher felt like he had it pretty wire to wire, actually. So I don't know if that's a great look for CNSoon or if it reflects a bit of a shift by Clasher to reflect the shift that CNSoon is trying to make here. The decks, I feel like you have to go something crazy different. This is a typical Davis Classic, though, isn't it, Alex? We see one team go up all the points possible on match point already. We were at the same sort of thing at the throwdown, and it went all 5 games. Do you think this one's going all 7?
I mean, I would like to see it go all 7. That's just like me saying words because I want to cast more Clash Royale. But you know, we see both of these players sitting at 10 here, just hanging out, burning down the clock a little bit. Looks like a gentleman's agreement to wait until double elixir, so we might be sitting here for 2 minutes. Oh, nope, never mind. Soon is going to break the ceasefire first with the Executioner drop, but Goblin Demolisher, I believe it's called the Goblin Demolisher. I don't even know if that's correct.
I believe you're correct.
And, oh, it looks like a balloon deck. Maybe we'll see a lava balloon deck coming out from CNSoon. That'd be a nice little callback.
Tornado Executioner.
Yeah, but that Nado is going to be able to make quick work of that balloon. And again, no damage dealt quite yet. Skeleton Barrel coming out from Clash. So this is an interesting. I don't really know what this deck would be called, but the arrows make quick work of the Skeleton Barrel push. Again, a little bit of chip damage. When that Skeleton Barrel drops, it's still going to be able to do some damage.
Is that a flying machine?
Yes, that is a flying machine.
Incredible. In the year 2025. Never thought I'd see it.
I mean, the flying machine is basically like an air musketeer if you really think about it.
Yeah.
I think it actually does have the exact same stats as a musketeer.
I just figured that for the elixir value and the point that it occupies in the deck, I figured you would probably just go with a Mega Minion or something similar. You have regular minions here for CNSoon side. Executioners on both sides really going to limit the efficacy, we'll say, of these minions and these other small troops, and that Tornado against the balloon deck feels really, really brutal.
Yeah, interesting. It looks like we see a Valkyrie and a Knight Evolution.
That's the freeze.
Coming out from each side, which I actually, or coming out from CNSoon's side, which we might have to replay this match for because we did agree that evolutions were not allowed. So we'll see if those evolutions do come out or if that's a visual bug. But yeah, that lava or that balloon freeze, no, it looks like the evolutions are active, so we will have to be replaying this match.
Just for the love of the game, really, honestly. And honestly, that's a nice block up there at the bridge. You see the clone coming through from Clasher this time. That's different.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically a show match at this point. This doesn't affect any standings because we do have to go back and disable those evolutions before we play it again. But that balloon shouldn't get a connection. Though the death bomb will, and I don't
Probably
know if
gets
that'll
it.
be enough to take the tower. No, not quite.
Oh.
Level 14, that would have been.
It's real close. That's a lot of stuff there at the
Yeah,
bridge,
we have
though.
to replay that match. Yep. So this match, unfortunately, is not going to be worth points, but it does give Soon another chance to play with that deck. He's just going to have to go back and move those the Valkyrie and the Knight out of those evolution slots to disable the evolutions here. But we'll just go ahead and hand that tower over, and that should be the show match there. Or maybe they're still going to play it out, so we'll just cast it. Why not?
I mean, it feels like the bomb made it there
Yeah,
anyway.
all right, cool. But all good. We just have to go back and disable those evolutions.
Do we want me to add a 1-0 in the show match? Separate call.
I think it's okay.
All right. I would say that they can change.
You can change.
Yeah, would be a little bit unfair.
Both sides are allowed to change decks out of this just because they've seen pretty much the full deck at this point. So if they want to choose to stick with it, they absolutely can. But we're just gonna, replay that. Still 3-0 in favor of Clasher here. We're gonna see what both teams or what both players decide to pull on out here for the final match.
And honestly, Alex, down 3-0, what are you running here? Are you running your pocket pick, or are you running what you practice more of, would you say?
I think you just go punter. Yeah. At this point, you just have to play at your peak, and for a lot of players, that is probably your main deck, right? What you use to climb.
Moving into this 0-3 matchup, though, I anticipate that the decks will probably be a little bit faster. I think nerves are pretty high. I feel like you've been pretty spammy, and you've tried the slower approach from both sides, right? And so far, everything's coming to Clasher. I think CNSoon really needs to up that tempo and force Clasher onto the back foot.
All right, well, we're going to get on into match 4 of Grand Finals of Tournament of the Crown at the 2025 Aggie Expo here. This could potentially be the last match. Hopefully soon able to, pull something back here, get his first victory in the series. It would be a shame to see him go down 0-4.
I love wasting elixir.
Yeah, a little bit more leaked for Clasher this time. A little bit of a change of pace here. Boss Bandit coming out from CNSoon. A little bit of a change of pace. He's going to be able to take down the Valkyrie.
Nice fireball.
Yeah, that fireball was nice. Oh, the HP bars were like stacked on top of each other, so it was a little bit misleading there. But again, no damage dealt, and a little bit of an elixir advantage for Soon. He's going to cycle a Skeletons and a Ram Rider to get a little bit more push out. Those Skeleton Dragons are not going to be able to take it out, though. Unfortunately, that's going to be a connection for CNSoon. Again, that early HP lead out for him. We'll see if he's going to be able to keep it.
And making sure that you maintain that health advantage obviously is important for the context of this game, but you need to give yourself some momentum, right? Obviously, it's one game at a time, and you want to think of it that way when you're trying to battle your way back down 3-0, but the Lava Hound.
Yep, that's going to come out in the corner, the standard placement for the Lava Hound. Boss Bandit going to get stopped by those Royal Guards. Still going to be able to connect, though. That's 1 hit, 2 hits, Firecracker hit, 3, 4.
That's
another fire. That's going to be the tower taken. But, I mean, at this point, Clasher's strategy, right, is we counter push on the other side. He's going for that 3 crown. The strategy with Lava Hound is you just build an unstoppable push. But he isn't really able to do that here. He's only got that Inferno Dragon out, and that Witch is just, like, the skeletons with that Witch are just distracting it so much. Clasher, or CNSoon, just able to sort of take out that push without really a whole lot going. And that was only an 11 elixir push, which frankly is not enough to beat 3 crown or something.
Nice, and if those arrows didn't come out at the last moment by CNSoon, then things could have gotten a little ugly, right? The Inferno Tower has some sweet time alone with that the side tower there. Instead, Clasher's push gets held very, very handily.
Interesting choice from Soon to just go for that counter push. I think it's a difference in philosophies for sure, right? It depends on whether you would rather go for the 3rd crown, which at this point with 2,000 HP on the King Tower is an entirely feasible reality, or if you should just focus on saving up and defending, right? There comes the balloon, the standard lava balloon. We've seen this a hell of a lot. We just need to make sure that we get that defense in, and I don't know if that's going to be able to. Yeah, that balloon's going to connect. The freeze comes through late from CNSoon, a little bit late, but still going to be able to take care of the Lava Hound. The balloon is going to get that 3rd hit. That's going to be tower, but again, look at the HP differences, right? CNSoon has a big head start on Clasher's King Tower, right? 2100 HP. Yes, the Lava Hound is dropped on the left side now, but you can always go for the right side Princess Tower, which seems to be what's going on here. That Rider is going to get that collapse. He's going to get that dash push. Freeze comes on through. It's a couple extra hits here, 1300 HP. But again, Lava Hound balloon coming out on the left side. CNSoon wasn't able to defend this last time, so there's nothing to make me believe that he can do it this time, and it doesn't look like it's going to go.
Nah, just look at that balloon getting through and getting some more sweet time.
Yep, there it is. That's going to be the 2nd tower, and Clasher takes down Soon 4-0 in Grand Finals. He will be your Tournament of the Crown champion in 2025. CNSoon going to go down to 2nd place, and Butterhugger in 3rd place. Both of those last 2 people here are going to be claiming Void V2 wireless headsets from CORSAIR, and Clasher, your champion, is going to take home a brand new keyboard. Not today, but in a couple days, once they do show up through shipment. We had a couple of delays with the prizing shipment, but yeah.
That was the tournament of all time.
That was indeed a tournament of all time. Not a whole lot to be said. It's Clash Royale. There's really not much to be analyzing here. We do need to wrap on up. We are just about 2 minutes away from the end of the expo. Hopefully any expo goers did have, a fun time. We got a question in chat: do most pro matches go to OT? Yeah, it is pretty common to for it to go down to the wire, and most of the time it is down to that HP difference at the end there. But yeah, it was. I think we had a pretty good tournament. Unfortunate that the finals was 4-0, but we had some competitive matches in there. We saw some good plays, moments of brilliance.
Absolutely, and despite all the tech issues, we still got to have, on average, more game time than tech pause, so that's a win in my book.
Yeah, if you don't count the end there, that's for sure. Or if you don't count the beginning, the tech setup part, that's for sure. But yeah, thanks for coming on out to play. Thank you for watching the stream. For those of you who were online, it was a little bit scuffed. We did our best with the stream, but we're happy that you showed up. We're happy that you wanted to watch, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get those prizing information collected. And that'll be all from me on the desk. Takeshi, any final words you want to say?
We made it an entire Clash Royale broadcast without making a single tower stroke. I'm so proud of us.
Yeah, I gotta keep it clean on the broadcast, man. Anyways, that'll be all from me, and that'll be all from Takeshi. Thank you so much for coming on out to Moogie's Tournament of the Crown. Winners, don't go anywhere. We have to collect some information from you guys to get those prizes shipped out. But that'll be the end of the stream for Twitch.tv, and we will see you guys next time.